Hi, Laura here again. Laura Girl is my YouTube channel name. Um, Previously, I had demonstrated a video on how to create a pivot table. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to create a pivot chart. So let's go to Excel. This is my data. This data is neckties and how they sold. So I'm going to use this criteria, these states that they sold in last week, the PIDs, which is the item identifier, and then how many dollars they sold last week. So the first thing I'm going to do is highlight all the data. And I'm going to click Insert, and I'm going to click over here to Pivot Chart and Pivot Table. I'm going to leave it as New Worksheet. My data range is already clicked, and I'm pressing OK. So now the first thing I'm going to do is put my state in the axis area. So now I'm going to have my states down here. This is how I want my chart. Then I'm going to take the PID, which is the item itself, essentially the item identifier, and put it here. It could also be, the title of the product itself, like green necktie. So this is where the PID's going to be, the legend, and then I'm going to go down and do last week's sales dollars. I'm going to click that and put it under values. So now I have the states here. I have the dollar value of what they sold last week, and here I have the items, which are displayed here. As you can see, to begin with, California sold a lot more of both items, specifically this PID starting in CN. It sold a lot more in sales dollars last week than in New Jersey and New York. So that's a bit of interesting information, right? So from that, we probably want to put more product in the California stores because they're selling more. So that's kind of some good analysis to get from a chart like this. So one thing we could do is take off a state. So maybe we want to take New York out of this and we want to just compare California and New Jersey. We click OK. And now we only see California and New Jersey. I'm going to go back and just add it for the sake of this video. And now we're back. So the next thing I want to do is, instead of having these numbers just be numbers, I want them to look like dollars actually. So I'm going to go to values in my field settings in my pivot chart fields. And I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to click on value field settings. It already is a sum, which is what I want, not a count or an average or anything like that. Then I'm going to go to show values as, and I'm going to go down to number format. And here I'm going to go to accounting, and then I'm going to make my decimal place as 0 because I don't want to see any decimals. Click OK and OK. So now now you can easily tell that these are dollar amounts. So California, PID CN item, just put the first two letters of that, you can see that it sold $300 last week in California. Whereas in New Jersey, this item sold about $100 last week. So that's pretty cool and gives us some cool information. As you update, if you want to add information, you can go back to your data. And if you add more rows or columns, what you could do is go in here and click refresh. Well, actually, you click change data source, and then you update the range. I'm just going to cancel that. If you want to just change information in the range, you could have just pressed refresh to just update numbers if they're in there. Like, let's say you have the exact same data range next week, but the data is actually a little different. The sales dollars were different. All you have to do is click refresh. Then lastly, I want to add a chart title. So I'm going to close out of the pivot chart fields, and you can see this plus sign. I'm going to click on the plus sign and it gives you chart elements. I'm going to click on chart title because in an ideal world, I'm going to be presenting this chart to management or executives or clients. So I'm going to click in here and I'm going to call it ties ties, ties sold LW. So now that was it. And bring it back. I press Control Z for that, by the way, to get the grid back. And that's basically how you make a pivot chart. And I hope you enjoyed that. And please leave me some comments if you want me to show you anything further or any other types of tutorials. Thank you. And please follow my channel and like my videos if you want to see more of them.